show, Let's Play 'em All, a show about video games. Original, right? Well, I'm going to do something a little bit different. On the internet you see a lot of playthroughs or walkthroughs or reviews, but what I want to do is kind of make a guide to games in general. I want to go console by console, game by game, and play every single game and maybe just give a little bit of reviews on each game. And it's just because, you know, there's a lot of games out there. Let's just stick to console games, not even this current generation, not the 360 or the newest ones, but like just the kind of older generation, PS2 and Xbox original back. There's like, I carry the one, like at least 10,000 plus different video games. And how do you know which ones are good? I mean, yeah, you can look up each one on your smartphone, but that's a big waste of time and takes forever. But this way you can kind of go and see, hey, you know, this looks like a good game, I saw this thing. And I mean, I'm not here to replace other review shows or walkthrough shows. This is to give you a little bit of information and get you more aware of different stuff. Plus, I think the best way to do this is to go by genre, because, you know, not everyone likes every type of video game. I know I'm not a huge fan of fighting games, mostly because I suck at them, but, you know, I think that's the best way to do it. Then you can go, hey, I want to go to this system, I like to see what games are in this genre, and you can see every single game that's in there and find which ones that you like. The way I'm gonna probably review these is probably just do the old school grading system. Like, you got A is a great game, you know, you should own it. B, good game. C, just meh. D, bad. And F, fail. Seriously, they failed at making a video game. So, what system to do first? Well, you know, I have a lot of video games, so there's a lot to choose from, but I think the best one to start with is the NES. I mean, how do you go wrong? This is a great system with about 800 different games, and really, I mean, think about the NES. How many series has the NES launched? Mega Man, Castlevania, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Gradius, Contra, Bomberman, Tetris, Dragon Warrior, Ghosts and Goblins, Final Fantasy, Dr. Mario, Adventure Island, Commando, the list goes on. Although there is a couple common misconceptions. Okay, I know a lot of people don't get this because of, you know, how old this thing is, but just look on here on the side. Take a look at that. Okay. See how it just says that there's audio and video, right? But a lot of people try to put the white thing right there. Okay? That is not audio. That's RF. That connects to the TV. That's video and audio. Okay? Which is unfortunate, but back in 1985, they only output in mono, not stereo. And pretty much everyone I've seen that doesn't know this usually tries to plug in the white one, and that's why you only get sound out of one side of your speakers, because that is not doing shit. What you have to do is you have to get a little connector device. You see this? This is kind of a audio splitter. So you can go on one end, you can plug in your audio and from your mono jack, and then you split it into both channels. So what genre should we do first? I was thinking shmups. I fucking love shmups. Alright? You're a spaceship, you fly around, pew pew pew, blowing up shit to save the galaxy. Pretty self-explanatory. They're not very deep, but they're a hell of a lot of fun. And the NES has a lot of shmups. If you play shoot-em-ups for the story, I feel that you might be disappointed. Because really the story of all shoot-em-ups are kind of like a science fiction Mad Lib story. It is the year! Insert 2-digit number of 19 or above. XX. Earth is being attacked by the evil blank monster or empire. Earth's defenses have failed, and you, the spaceship name here, are the only hope for the survival of Earth. I mean, there are some that diverge away from that mold, but most follow this format, so there is little point into going into story. Although there are some that go over the top, like Gradius, which the Earth is being attacked by a legion of fish alien spaceships. So let's get started. Gradius is a classic in the shoot-'em-up genre. It is one of the first scrolling shooters that actually focused on level memorization, which made you want to replay the game, and was a great way to just suck your quarters out of the arcade machine. It was a huge hit in Japan. That's why on the cartridge it actually says over 1 million sold in Japan. Because if something's popular in Japan, it's obviously going to be popular here. Okay. Moving on. Gradius had a pretty unique power-up system. When you collected one of these orb-shaped objects, it would open up a new power-up option on the power-up bar. It had a lot of different options for you to do that. You could increase your speed, you could get new guns, you could add those options, or assistant floaty thingies, like I like to call them, just floaty thingies, or shields to your arsenal. This allowed for some strategy as you played the game, as you could power up your ship as much as you can, and then just collect enough power-ups so you have that shield on standby in case you take too many hits. But, you know, it is a little bit difficult, because if you collect too many of those orb thingies, you actually can reset the power-up bar. You almost kind of have to start avoiding them instead of collecting them. But it is a really good game for graphics for the time, but it really suffers from slowdown when you play it. It's, I don't know why, every Gradius game, even Gradius 3 for Super Nintendo, just lots of slowdown when you have the more intense scenes. And the bosses they kind of get repetitive. And for the most part, the soundtrack is kind of meh. But still, other than that, the game is great, and it's an awesome shoot 'em up. So, it's a solid B. Life Force. Now here's a shoot 'em up. A spin-off of the Gradius series, Life Force goes on and improves on some of the things from the first game. First off, there is simultaneous 2-player, where Gradius only had 2 players switching back and forth. It's a lot more creative with the bosses and environments. The soundtrack is pretty awesome, especially the opening tune. It has great atmosphere, and the always great power-up system made this one awesome game. A. Alpha Mission by SNK was released in arcades in 1985 and made its way to the NES in '87. It is a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up, came with an assortment of power-up and weapon choices, but I don't know, this game kinda has a lot of things wrong with it too. I mean, you get an assortment of weapons, you actually collect different ships to transform into, and collect energy to transform into the new ships. But graphics are kinda so-so. I mean, it is an early NES game, but still kinda repeats the graphics, and the bosses are nothing special. Plus, it's really got some dickish power-ups. It's one of those games where you die, you go back to the beginning of the level, which already sucks. But, okay, there's power-ups that are reverse letters, which are power downs. That's understandable. But you'll be playing along and then you'll find a power-up that's shaped, or that has a letter R on it. Okay, what does that mean? That could be rockets or some awesome weapon. No, it returns you to the beginning of the level. Yep. Assholes. It's got kind of standard graphics for back in the day. The music is crappy. The sound effects are pretty crappy too. Action's okay, but overall, I wouldn't give it more than a C. Silkworm is an awesome game. What more do I need to say? It's a port of the arcade game where you pilot either a jeep or a helicopter fighting the forces of evil. Seriously, do you need more? Okay, each vehicle has advantages over the other, as the helicopter can avoid obstacles easier, but your guns do less damage. And the jeep is able to aim its gun by pressing either up or down. By yourself, this game is decent, but it is like one of the best two-player shoot-em-ups there is, because there's that balance, and you have to actually kind of have teamwork, which is strange. In a genre where you just blow shit up, you actually have to work together, which is cool. I'd say it's a B by yourself, but it's a pretty awesome game. A if you have some people to play with. Now let's look at some shooters by Capcom. They're awesome. First, 1942. Look, I even have the game in the box. Ooh. Too bad this game sucks. Well, at least this port does. I mean, I was really excited to pick this game up, because I remember playing 1944 or 45 in the arcades, when arcades existed. And it was an awesome game. You shoot a bunch of stuff, things explode. But this game sucks. It's so boring. The music is awful. It just kind of rapes your ears with high-pitched bleeping keyboard notes. That's some good music. In fact, I put it on here so I can listen. Oh yeah. That's good. Oh, sweet melody. And it's not even Capcom's fault. I mean, it was developed by an outside company called Micronix, who made a lot of crappy ports, like Super Pitfall and Ghostbusters. But the sequel does much to rectify its past mistakes. 1943 is awesome. The bosses are huge, and the waves are quick and challenging. The music is a lot better, because I don't feel like my ears will start bleeding if I listen to too much of it. The game runs really fast with only a little bit of slowdown, which is surprising for how much is on screen. You have a varied weapon selection, and you can charge your normal gun to release a mighty laser blast, and press A to unleash your lightning bomb. You also have RPG-like stats, which increase your defense, offense, special weapon time limit, and energy level. Your energy is very important, as it powers your plane, and you use energy when you use the lightning bomb. You have to keep your energy level up through the power-ups, otherwise when you run out, your plane will slow down, and you only can use your lightning bomb a limited number of times. With 24 stages to play, you definitely get your money's worth with this shmup gem. A. Back to the Future. Balls. This game sucks. The music sucks. The level sucks. It's barely a shmup. I mean, I kind of qualified it because it is a scrolling action game. What is there to say? This is one of those games that's been talked about to death. It is set up as being Marty McFly running around collecting clocks to prevent the picture of your parents from fading away. Some relevance to the movie, I guess. I don't know where the clocks come in. I don't remember Marty McFly collecting clocks to change the future, but whatever. But the strange thing is, for whatever reason, bullies, workers holding sheets of glass, ballerinas, bees, and freaking these tiny, barely seeable blue dots will try to stop you. Every time you get hit, you don't actually die, you just lose time. If you run out of time, you're just gonna die anyway, so you can't get hit too much. After every 4 levels, you do some sort of stupid activity involving like collecting hearts from your mom or throwing milkshakes at bullies. They're really hard and they're really long. Most of them you have to collect like at least 50 of them. You have to either hit 50 bullies or collect 50 hearts, which allows a lot of room for you to fuck up. And if you do, you actually have to start from the previous stage. That's right, you go back from where you're doing the milkshake thing from the previous level back to the street before you get to try it again. Yeah, this game sucks. Oh, also, after you beat the milkshake bullies, what do you get? The same levels. They're just a different color. That's right. This game only has 4 levels, and then these shitty little activities in between, and they just repeat over and over and over again. This game sucks. This game sucks. This is an F. F, 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 F. Fail. Twin Eagle. Wow, what a title screen. Revenge Joe's brother. Shouldn't it be avenge, not revenge? Like, I am Twin Eagle. I am good at revenging things. Yeah, the story in the manual is pretty funny. As Joe's brother, who has no name, gets killed by enemies, pretty much just generic enemies, and says that you should avenge him. Oh, yeah, I was right. It's avenge. It says in the manual. And blow up all the enemies to bring peace for the world. Wow, that's generic. Even more cookie cutter than my freaking Mad Lib story. But the game itself is pretty dull, to be honest. The music is dull, the gameplay is slow. Although you can upgrade your weapons, they feel really similar as everyone shoots these gigantic bullets that are kind of almost comical in size. And, there's only 5 levels, and if you manage to beat it, it'll probably take you about 20 minutes or less. Yeah, it's a really short game. And yeah, so it's not really bad, but it's definitely not good. So this is a C. Next game. Zanac, made by Compile, is an excellent shooter. Okay, it's an early game for what would be the company to produce some of the best shooters ever. This game has all the elements for a good shooter. Big selection of weapons, frantic dodging of lots of projectiles and enemies, 12 stages, unlike Twin Eagle, which can be beaten whenever you have some free time. Also, it has this really complex AI system that actually changes the difficulty based on how you play. The more power-ups you pick up, the more things you destroy, the stronger you are, the more flawless you play, the actual more difficult the game becomes for you. And vice versa, if you keep losing and dying and restarting stages, then the game will be a little bit easier, which is pretty crazy for a game that was made in 1987. Plus, I mean, the game is just awesome. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you got varied level design, frantic gameplay, a sweet advanced AI system that kind of keeps things fresh, keeps things new, has almost zero slowdown. It was made in 1987, great graphics for the time, and it was pretty much made by 3 people. So just out of that alone, it deserves the A. This is something you should pick up if you have not played this one before. I strongly recommend it. Cobra Command. Ugh. Another boring helicopter game. I mean, starts promising. You got a helicopter, it's coming at you, and then the sea part's kind of like Moses. Okay, what? To be honest, the music is pretty catchy, actually, but the gameplay is pretty rough. I mean, first, the camera sucks. Okay, every time you move forward, it has to kind of catch up with you, and it kind of moves your helicopter back and forces it back, which kind of freezes you in place. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad, except when I'm trying to dodge these fucking bullets, I'm getting pushed back by the stupid camera, and shit, I'm dead. I mean, what else? It's trying to be like Choplifter, and it's a classic arcade game, so that's not too bad. So the gameplay idea is not bad. But it just has some flaws. Like, also, if you get hit too much, you'll kind of start like dipping down, like you're a helicopter out of control. But sometimes if you can press up enough, it doesn't matter. You can just keep going back playing the game, which I don't really understand. But I don't know. It's just, there's too many things wrong with it, but it's got some good things, good music, good gameplay idea. And it's just kind of meh. Another C.
This week in featured review.
Abadox was released in 1989 by Natsume. Just a quick hint, if you find games that are by Natsume, you should probably get them. Natsume is awesome. Abadox, which is relentlessly difficult, but is a pretty awesome game if you actually can kind of absorb its qualities. If you get past that, Abadox is an awesome game. Basically, you play as this kind of robot thing that you're able to upgrade several times with the little options. I don't know why they're called options. I call them floaty things. But the floaty things, you're also you have an arsenal of several weapons. The game is very strange, as the majority of it seems to be inside a giant alien life force. As you pass the teeth, the intestines, right into the heart of the beast. This one section of level 2 I played and replayed and replayed and replayed about 30 times, and I still could not beat it. Because when you die, you lose all your weapons, all your power-ups, and basically, if you do that in this game, you will not be able to beat it. Especially these vertical scrolling sections, which are brutal. Brutal. Look at me die. Look at me die. Look at me die. Look at me die. The difficulty does not let up. This game is really hard. That's probably what most people have against it. Cool game. It's got a lot of things going for it, but it's really hard. Probably one of the harder shooters for the NES. What to say? It's an awesome game. I think it's very underrated. You can pick it up for a few bucks, so you're not going to be out a lot of money. And yeah, Abadox. Strange name, great game. Well, that's it for this episode. Hope I'll see you next time for the next batch of shmups. You're on Let's Play 'em All.